What is the number one talking point for Oklahoma football, generally speaking? 5 stars. Can OU get 5 stars? Who are OU's 5 stars? Hey, we got a 5-star. Who's this 5-star we got? Right? I got a list, RJ, and I got it right here in my trusty, handy-dandy phone.
It's the iPhone 11.
So what?
It's the 11.
It is the iPhone 11 Pro.
Yeah. Oh.
Actually, my wife, I'm like, this is a birthday present.
It's
she takes
a
care
good
of me.
gift. It's a good gift.
It's a beautiful gift, and I'm going to start using it for shooting videos. Anyway.
It's killer.
OU doesn't have any 5 stars in the 2020 class. There's some consternation about this. There's a lot of people saying, what are we doing? How come we don't have any 5 stars? Folks, I'm going to read you a list. And I want you to tell me, these are all 5 stars I'm getting ready to read you.
Okay.
Tell me if you would take them on your team or if you would not. Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, probably take it.
Pretty much. I had a great question yesterday, too, to DeMarco Murray. If you haven't seen it, go to check out my video.
Okay.
In the breakout session.
Okay.
Where I asked him about his appreciation for what Adrian is still doing. 3 years in the NFL before DeMarco got there.
Right.
3 years in the NFL after DeMarco retired.
Right.
He's still doing it. So he talked at length about Adrian Peterson.
Give me the Cliff Notes.
He's his favorite player.
Okay.
Best running back of all time.
Right on.
I love Barry Sanders, number 1. But Adrian Peterson's best running back of all time. That's what he said.
Right on.
You need to go watch that video. Anyway, you got Adrian Peterson. Would you take him on your team?
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. Knowing what we know, we're not going back to the year they were recruited. And, oh, what a great prospect. We're talking about what we know right now.
Right.
Rhett Bomar.
No.
Pass. Jayden Hazelwood.
Yeah, you keep him.
I'm doing this from 24/7 Sports Rankings.
Okay. From the composite, I assume.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Jayden Hazelwood is the number 3 recruit that OU
All
has
time.
ever had, at least since they've been doing these recruiting rankings.
I think Tommy Harris is next.
Tommy Harris is next.
Yeah.
You know your business.
Yeah.
I'd take him.
Yeah.
Jayden Hazelwood, sure. Book is incomplete by all accounts.
So far, so good.
DeMarcus Granger.
Ooh.
He's a 5-star.
Okay.
Jeremy Calhoun. He was a 5-star.
So is Brandon Williams.
Spencer Rattler's next. He's at number 7 because he wears number 7. Easy to remember for a simple mind like mine.
He was 2 before he wore 7, but it's a different story.
There you go.
It's a different story.
Next on this list, R.J. Washington.
Yeah. RJ talked like a 5-star.
He certainly did. He had 5-star press conferences.
RJ Washington.
Next on this list, Gerald McCoy. For my money, that's 3. Brandon Williams.
He turned out to be fine at Texas A&M.
Pass.
Okay.
For the investment that you put into a 5-star, pass. Not that he's a bad player. I'm just saying 5-star, that's a 5-star? The career he had, that's a 5-star guy? You know what I'm saying? Joe Mixon is next. Talent-wise, absolutely. Matter of fact, move him up. Move him up about 6 spots.
Okay.
You also got some other things you have to accept when you take Joe Mixon. Am I right? Or am I right?
I broke that story. Yeah.
Another 5-star you want to hear about? Trey McGuire.
Who Jay Norvell gave the great quote of all time. Still not sure if he knew what he was doing, but Carlson asked. So
I remember this.
when Jay Norvell had his first availability post Trey McGuire and
post Trey McGuire's first suspension.
right, well we're talking about that one
Because we didn't know what was up.
right. That was the part that made it better.
Yes.
Is we didn't know what was up.
We didn't know what he was doing.
And Jay Norvell said he's just trying to get his hands around it, and he did the hand gesture.
Yes.
And then later on, Jenny Carlson looked around at like the scrum of reporters, like, you think Jay knew what he was doing when he did that?
Yes. I remember that.
For those of you that don't know, indecent exposure.
Trey's got some things going on. He's trying to get his hands around. Oh, God. Did he not? Up next on the 5-star list of 5 stars is Theo Weiss. Book's out still. DeMarco Murray. Absolutely. That's 5 for me. We're up to like number 16 now. Mo Dampier. Pass. Chris Patterson. Pass. Jamarcus McFarland. For a 5-star, probably pass.
What do you? Okay, so let's also include what you're saying when you make a 5-star. You're saying that in 3 years, that guy just drafted in the first round.
Yes.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah. Not a guy who hangs around for 5 years and is in the rotation. That's what all these D tackles were, except for GK. After Jamarcus McFarland, Keith Ford.
XFL
superstar, scored the first touchdown in the St. Louis.
For the Battlehawks.
Yes. So,
transfer to A&M.
I think that's where we're at with this list of 5-star. Oh, here we go. Tony Cade, Wes Simms. I did not know Wes Simms was a 5-star. I did not know that. I looked on this list and I'm like, Caleb Kelly.
So
Bray Walker.
So on that list.
And Zach Latimer.
On that list, can you go to the all-time?
This is it.
No, not for OU, just period.
Oh, the all-time?
Yeah.
I don't have that up.
Okay, the reason I'm pointing that out, right, is what Lincoln said about, for us, these are the guys that we want, right, is the thing that every coach will say. But Jerry Jeudy?
You'll take one of those, too.
Okay. Right? Christian Wilkins?
Yeah.
I mean, you can look around, right, and the hit rate for Oklahoma? I'll bet
shockingly low.
Well, that's also
for 5 stars.
That's also kind of Rhett Bomar. Take him as an example. Bomar was supposed to be what Baker turned out to be.
Absolutely.
Difference. Bomar got in trouble in a way that he couldn't come back from. And that in trouble wasn't actually what he did. It was just that he lied to Bob. And I say just that.
Well,
but that, like, for instance, with Baker, you grab your crotch, you get tackled by the police in one of the greatest form tackles I've ever seen on a black and white screen. Now, that's SEC talent right there.
That's right.
Right? None of that is enough. You have it falling out with Texas Tech's head coach. You have this tremendous amount of limelight, right, that comes from not just what you do on the football field, but quite honestly what you do off of. I mean, he announced his presence to the nation with that doing the Dougie.
Yes.
Right? That was it. Like, that was, who the hell is this dude?
Yes, he did.
Who's the Timberlake lookalike? Right? That was the moniker. And then, remember that scout team All-American? I mean, the 2014 scout team is my favorite story nobody tells.
That's right.
Dorial Green Beckham, Mark Andrews, Orlando Brown, Baker. Yeah. All of these dudes. On that scout team. Yeah. And I was like, just make the scout team the first team. Couldn't do it for obvious reasons. And then DGB had to screw it all up by going pro. Whatever. Fine. But DGB is a 5-star.
Yep.
And I think at the time was the number 1 rated
in the country.
Right. And as a wide receiver, that's tremendously hard to do because the positional value just ain't there.
Yeah.
Like Julian Fleming, I think is 4th on the 247 composite, and he's the best athlete in the 2020 class, right? But he ain't a defensive tackle, he ain't a quarterback. That's what it is. So when we say where are all the 5 stars, I also think, you're leaving out Buki, who's not a composite 5-star.
Not a composite 5-star, right.
But was a 5-star quitting somebody.
And yeah, book's still out on him, but would you take him for all you have to invest in a 5-star?
What do you have to invest in a 5-star?
You got to woo him. You got to wine him and dine him.
Okay.
You got to really make them feel. You know what I mean? They're different than a 3-star. They're different than a 4-star. They've got this. As
opposed to you're saying they're different.
Some of them are worth it. There's no doubt. Some of them are like superheroes. You bring them in, they're going to save the day. And some of them are like,
we'll even keep Joe Mixon on
scholarship. I can't believe we invested all that time in this guy. Everybody wrote all these stories. Everybody did all these videos on him, and everybody talked about him for years.
Yes, but that's us.
That's Mo Dampier, man.
No, that's us, though.
All he gets famous for is waving that towel.
Who is the cornerback? Oh, man.
5-star corner?
Yeah.
Marcus Walker?
Never showed up. It's like,
was it? No,
6,
I can't remember.
7. My buddy Steve would know.
It's not. Yeah, I just can't remember right now.
Because there's a running joke about which overhyped player is going to be a dud this year, right?
Chijoki was 5-star, or as a JUCO, he was a 5-star.
Damn it, Kerry damn near sent me down to Houston to find Quincy. Got kicked off the team in like September of that year.
Yeah.
Oh man, because he's junior college defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I gotta remember this.
Recruiting. It's the essence of recruiting, in that you just don't know. But when you come in and you've got that 5-star next to your name, there's so much expectations on you, so much pressure.
That you
and not just from like me and you, media people. There's pressure, and not just from the fans. There's pressure from them coaches. Let's see you get. Oh, you think you're all that? Let's see you get in here. And then there's pressure from underneath you from all the 3 stars and 4 stars who are out there every day in practice trying to whip your ass.
Well, hey, look. As I understand it and as I see it, you wanted it.
Yeah.
And let's. I'm gonna be hard on them in the way that I'm hard on Lincoln, right? You wanted people or let's take this. You wanted people to pay attention to what you're doing. That means you have to be susceptible and you have to recognize the criticism. And you have to eat it. Which is why when you ask me what I want Buki, yeah. Because all that kid has done is eat it. Everything that has been said about him, everything that's been thrown at him, class individual.
Yeah.
He lost his cool a couple times on the football field.
Agreed.
He apologized for it, right? They move on. Tell me who else you stuck at nickel. Just tell me.
Yeah, on last year's team?
Yeah.
Who was his backup? Chance Sylvie?
How did that go?
Replaced by Woody Washington later on, was he?
And Trajan Bridges was trotted out there.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
But who did you end up having to go with? And who's playing out of position?
Yeah.
You know, so in that case, right, GK came into the best situation, right? Let alone, of a guy not named Tommy Harris. Quite honestly. The defense that they were running and the way that he played the game just fit. All right, it's not unlike watching Kyler walk into the offense after Baker. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I know exactly what to do with this.
And even GK had the red shirt.
Well, and I think,
which to us, covering the team was like, oh, great, another Mo Dampier, another 5-star defensive tackle who can't play, right? That's what we're thinking. But then he comes out redshirt freshman year and shows us, no, man, I'm a grown-ass man. It's like, oh, this guy's different.
Have you noticed the number of 5-star defensive tackles, though, of the last 10 years?
No, I can't. A lot of them go to Alabama, Clemson, what we mentioned earlier.
It's also getting smaller.
And I think part of that is, when you say 5-star defensive tackle, I was going to make reference to this earlier. I think recruiting evaluations have gotten miles and miles better. If Mo Dampier, who I hate to keep picking on him, if he or whoever else would have came out today, Jamarcus McFarland, DeMarcus Granger, whatever, they wouldn't be 5 stars. Not as well as they would have played in high school. The people evaluating now would look at them and say, let's make them a 4-star.
We also have 20 years of data.
Exactly.
Right. We have men in the profession who have become better evaluators because they have more reps evaluating folks. Yep. And they recognize when they get things wrong. Like, hearing the Rankings Council for 247 speak, it's about 6 guys, right? And I've met all but 2 of them. And I vouch for each and every one of them because they really do care and they take time. That I even reached out to Barton Simmons, who's director of scouting for 247, to get his reaction about Kobe McKenzie choosing to reclassify and what that does. He says, hey, man, I haven't seen enough of him. Here's who you should call. Nobody's doing that.
That's
in
2005.
How it's done.
No, in 2005, he would have spouted off.
Right.
Yes.
And they were talking about, hey, we're putting together 5 stars and we're ranking 32 of them because we want to be correct about what is an NFL GM going to think about this kid in 3 years.
Right.
And they were talking about Brian Brzee was rated the number 1 player in the country for 247 for a very long time. Because he's just an excellent defensive tackle. I mean, Barton compared him to Ndamukong Suh. There are those of us that think J.J. Watt. Whatever you see is what you see. But he said, hey, what do we know about the NFL? Who's the first pick in the NFL draft every friggin' year? It's a quarterback. Let's give ourselves an opportunity here, and let's make it about Bryce Young and DJ. You know, is Uiagalelei really that great, or is Bryce Young really that great? Then the conversation became, I think Bryce Young is better than Kyler Murray, which is something else entirely.
Right.
And then it became DJ throws a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, 6'5", 250 at 17. Who we gonna bet on? You know, and those sorts of things. I think that the group of guys that are in charge now also really recognize the value of recruiting as not just an analysis and coverage, which is what most people want, but the stories. Like Jamar Chase, Biletnikoff Award winner, right? He's got to come back this year. My favorite part of Jamar Chase's story isn't him talking noise and then backing it up. It ain't him going to LSU and catching 1,000 balls. It's that he committed to 4 different places. You know, at one point, David Beatty had a cardboard fence wrapped around his house.
That's right, yeah.
You know, and then he decided he was going to go with Terrace Marshall and they were going to tear up LSU. But, some of the stories, like his dad would go, he said, Dad, I'm going to Florida. And he was serious. You look at the depth chart? Oh, I'm going to be buried. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go to LSU. I'm going to go to LSU. Because there's 17, right? And the ranking that we give them, for instance, let's go back to this time when we're ranking guys like Adrian Peterson, Red Bomar. Marcus Spears was rated the #1 tight end in the country. Tight end. Coming out of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
He said, how'd you get to be #1 tight end? I went to a camp and caught some balls. and Nick Saban's like,
Wow.
You're the #1 player in the state. And Saban comes in. He says, Marcus, I can't let you leave. He says, it's cool, coach. I'm going to Southern. Because I'm going to get deep into it here, but to play at Southern was a dream for many young black men growing up. You want to play in the Bayou Classic. You were going to Grambling, you were going to Southern. You know, to hell with LSU because not everybody was on the program.
That's right.
You know. So he had to Nick Saban had to recruit to get to Southern.
Wow.
He's like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to just go down the street to Southern. What did I go to LSU for? Marcus, I can't let you do that. What do you want to do? Right? And he said, I'm going to play defensive line. Fine. Whatever. I just got to have you. So, like, the idea that we would have rated Marcus Spears best tight end in the country also misses the point, right?
Yeah.
You know, like Darnell Washington, 6'7", 265 pounds. He can play both sides of the ball for Georgia. He's an athlete because we don't know what he's going to choose to do.
Right.
And because he gets to make that distinction. Whereas we look at some of these guys that you have mentioned, some of them absolutely hit on. Others will wait and see. Others is like, that guy? I don't want to get wrapped up in the idea that stars mean everything.
No, but they mean a lot.
Right. Clemson outkicked
You want to have
ranking.
them if you're going to win a national championship.
Right. Because, like, 8 out of the last 10 recruiting national titles have been won by one team. Alabama. Mm-hmm. You know who won the other two? Georgia. You know who's played in 2 of the last 3 semifinals? Those 2 teams.
Yeah.
Well, Clemson doesn't have to do it. Yeah, because Clemson's a unicorn. Clemson ain't even supposed to be here. You know, like Clemson
That's lower recruiting class than Oklahoma did a few years ago.
Right.
What, 5 years ago?
16 in 2017. That team just played for the national championship.
Yeah.
You know, and would have run roughshod over Oklahoma. Now, you also hit on some of these 3-stars. Like, you know the story of Brent Venables recruiting Isiah Simmons? So, he had more guys go into the draft out of his defensive back group than he was ready for. He just overestimated what some of his guys were going to do.
Okay.
So, he was hurting at safety. So, late in the process, he got word about Isiah Simmons at Kansas. And he said, okay, I got to go to Olathe and have a look because I'm hurting. And he saw a 6'4", 210-pound athlete. And he said, I wrapped my arms around the kid because I was so grateful that he was just as big and he was just as strong as he was advertised. And it's like, wait a second, that guy played on both sides of the ball, was all-state on both sides of the ball. We would say in Kansas.
Yes.
Also a guy that didn't go to camps where guys like myself would evaluate him and rate him higher. Because who are we evaluating? The kids that are going up against good on good. You know, Keeley Ringo was rated the #1 cornerback in the country this year, not because he's 6'2", 205 pounds, but because he was an eraser. He took away a 6'5", 253-pound tight end who is the best in the country, and Eric Gilbert is going to LSU. He's going to be the next Thad Moss and probably better. We're like, okay, we get to see that. Let's see Isiah Simmons do that stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was being recruited to play wide receiver in Big Ten for like Minnesota. And Dabo said, if you watch the kid play, you know he ain't no damn wide receiver.
Yeah.
That boy will hit somebody.
Right.
And then became the guy that we thought Caleb Kelly was going to be. Space linebacker, middle safety type. You know, can do anything you ask him to do, edge rusher. So much so that he just screws up your entire offensive game plan because he can fly and he's bigger than anybody else you're going to put on him. Like, the idea of a 6'4", 230-pound linebacker, what? That's a safety. That's Cam Chancellor.
Right.
It's like, what if Cam Chancellor also had get off? What if Cam Chancellor also had ball skills? So that part of it, I think we also don't necessarily give Oklahoma, in some cases, enough credit for it. But I would add this. Which one of these guys defensively has panned out to the NFL?
Go the 5-star list I just read?
No, just period. Is it guys that they developed? Or is it just the G.K. McCoys of the world? Because if he's a 5-star, we would make the argument there ain't a whole hell of a lot of developing you need to do. You need to pin that boy's ears back and let him go.
Yeah.
If he's a 3-star, or I even include 4-stars to 5-stars, they're blue chip recruits. It ain't an easy thing to do.
Yeah, where does Curtis Lofton fit into those guys?
Right.
That's a good example.
Right. Kingfisher.
Right.
You
3-star prospect, I think. Maybe
I'm
low 4.
not certain. I thought he was 4-star, but I might be trying to give more benefit.
I think he was
like
the number 1 or 2 in the state, so he probably was a 4-star. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of Kenneth Murray. I'm thinking of the kid that was supposed to play outside linebacker, got thrust into playing middle linebacker and developed into a fringe first-round draft pick. We'll see what he does at the combine, I guess, 2 weeks from now.
I think he's going to test well, don't you?
Man, I hope he runs sub 4.5 because that'll seal it.
He's going to run faster than Jalen Hurts is going to run. My prediction on Hurts, as fast as he can run in track shorts, and what are they making more? Football cleats, right? So 4.78.
No, he ran 4.6 the Senior Bowl.
Did he?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I mean, but that's in a different surface. I'm talking about the combine, where the surface is the surface, and that's what you go by.
So the way I get
4.72. How about that?
I have a running bet.
That's a prediction
with Drum that Joe Burrow runs faster than Jalen Hurts.
I think that's very possible.
Right, and I got laughed at.
No, I think that's very possible.
Because folks were like, he ran 4.4 in high school. Okay, at Alabama. You know who ran 4.7 at Oklahoma? Neville Gallimore. Bet you dollars to dimes that kid ain't going to run 4.7 even at 295.
Yeah.
But if he runs 4.8, he's going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Because the last guy that ran 4.8 is that big, his name is Quentin Williams. 3rd overall, if I got that right.
Sounds right.
So the idea, because Bruce Feldman put together his freak list, be like 335 running 4.7.
Yes.
Show me.
Yes.
Show me the laser. And add this. A guy like Shane Witter, right, which we're going to talk more about, and I'm going to get way out in front on this, but that kid ran 4.46 laser out of high school. Will he still be that fast? Does he still play that fast when he gets to this level? There's some more developing to do. But I'll tell you this, Kenneth Murray got faster at Oklahoma.
I think so too.
That's development.
And part of the faster you're talking about is not necessarily click,
Right.
stop time. The faster for Kenneth Murray was recognition.
Right.
He played 20% faster as a junior than he did as a freshman.
Because they made it simple. They said see, think, hit, think.
Process the game.
Well, I mean,
Don't worry about thinking too much. Just see, go, hit. When he was running down those quarterbacks, Houston, Derek King, chased him down, put him in a headlock on the way to the ground.
Gorgeous.
Good Lord, I thought he was going to kill the guy.
But also,
that happened at full speed.
Yeah, and I love this because I'm fortunate enough to be able to have some conversations with some scouts from time to time, right? Because you meet them when you're up there.
Oh yeah,
and you get to know some.
Yeah, we talk to the same scout a lot, I think.
Right. There you go. He would tell me that guy doesn't play as fast as that film or as that time says, or that guy doesn't play as big as he should be. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of those,
right? But you look at Murray, and I would say he's a will, and everybody would tell me, yeah, but they call him the Mike, but he's the will, because what do you do as the will? You are the trigger. You don't process a damn thing. Like when you saw the running back go in motion, what did Murray do? He took off. Because, there's a video going around of a little miniature terrier taking out this you've seen it.
Yes.
Okay. And, one dude had the great joke of saying when the DB recognizes the screen.
Yes.
Right? And I saw other DBs retweeting, pull the trigger!
Yes.
Blow
it up.
Right. That's Murray, right?
Yes.
Because, last year 2018 in Mike's scheme, he's still having to diagnose stuff. And quite frankly, he's just not good at scraping it and seeing what he sees. Deshaun, though, who Odom called the most instinctual linebacker that I've ever coached, is going to be a force. You need another trigger man next to him. Is it Witter? Is it Kelly? Last time we penciled in Caleb Kelly, he got beat by a dude that was a 3-star recruit.
Yeah.
And a guy that ended up playing for a little bit in the NFL. I'm still not certain that Caleb Kelly plays in the NFL.
I think he'll get a shot. I think he'll get a clean shot.
Right, and that's
because of the potential aspect.
Bonkers to me.
The 5-star aspect.
That Kenneth Murray Jr. came out before Caleb Kelly. 3-star 2017, 5-star 2016, who Mike loved.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody's like, oh, okay, Murray, he'll be a nice rush end. Back when it was still Jack linebacker.
Right, yeah.
And then it was like, oh, okay, we lost our starting linebacker, and then we lost Levi Draper to a shoulder injury, and was never heard from again. Mm-hmm. So, hey, kid, be the first true freshman to start at middle linebacker at Oklahoma since 75. So, I think about development in that way, and I want to give everybody the appropriate amount of credit, But I continue to look at the recruiting rankings. 4 teams played in the college football playoff. 3 of them finished in the top 5 of the 2020 recruiting
Absolutely.
rankings.
It's been that way every year. All 5 years.
Right. And then we wonder why Oklahoma gets housed in the playoff or they gave up a 17-point lead in the second half of a game. I think all that stuff matters. I think, they probably missed on some 5 stars too. Alabama has them transferring out. There's one kid who's poor kid. He's at Colorado. Planning to
From
play
Alabama to Colorado.
and was going to play for Mel Tucker. Another kid ended up at Houston, just got kicked off the Houston squad. 5 stars.
Yeah.
But,
right, I read about that.
But they hit on Xavier McKinney, and they hit on Trevin Diggs, and they hit on Terrell Lewis, and they hit on Dylan Moses.
Well, that's the thing. If you can shotgun 5, 6, 7, 8 5-stars in a recruiting class, you can hit on half of those, and you're golden.
And
you're going to the
point.
national championship game.
That's my point, right? Like Kelly Bryant's a 3-star quarterback.
When has Oklahoma ever gotten more than 1 or 2 5-stars?
Exactly.
They got in 2007. They got 3.
He got 2
and
in
2 of them were
2019.
marginal players. 1 of them eventually left the program. I mean,
You got 2 in 2019. 3 if you want to count Weiss.
No, Weiss, yeah.
Right? So 3 is the best that Oklahoma's ever done. Like, we talk about why does Oklahoma
All at the
have
same position.
Right. With
That,
6,
which was odd.
Well, you had Rattler.
Okay,
And then Weiss and
2
Hazelwood.
receivers and a 4-star receiver.
Right. So you had Rattler,
Bridges, right.
Hazelwood, Weiss, Bridges.
Bridges was the 4-star.
Bridges. I think that Oklahoma at number 11 is par for the course, right? We're talking about, like I made the point that it's the first time they haven't had a top 10 class since 2016 when Bob, frankly, just stopped recruiting. Oklahoma's recruiting ranking went up as Bob's gut went out.
He said that, I didn't.
Well, I mean, look, when Bob was able to run every day, Adrian Peterson came here. When Bob couldn't run every day.
He went to swimming. Didn't you know that? His knees hurt and he went to swimming. And his hips.
PJ and Bannister is in that 2016 class.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good name from the past.
Look, I get it. Knees and backs are a big deal.
Absolutely.
But they also are able to get you out on the pavement. I still love that Cale Gundy story because I'm sure other coaches have made that gamble and lost. Going in Adrian Peterson's bedroom, talk about you can either come with us or we're going to kick your ass to the number 1 rated player in the country.
Yeah. That's bravado, isn't it? I mean, that's how you
and
recruit a
A&M's
5-star.
A&M's going, see? They don't love you.
Yeah. Desperate. They're desperate in College Station.
That's Gundy, man. Gundy don't care.
You can either come here and win with us, or you can not come here and we'll kick your ass.